Please visit us on the web at www.pollenpeddlers.com. You can meet our team of beekeepers that will provide you with all your bee venom therapy needs. We offer bees in a mini pod so that you can easily order as many bees as needed per week, in addition to our Dream Pod system that gently puts your bees to sleep for therapy. The website also gives you resources for bee venom therapy, the protocols, and other people's experiences. Please feel free to contact us via Facebook Messenger or through our newsletter. Thank you. This video is not intended as a substitute for medical advice of physicians. The viewer should regularly consult a physician in matters relating to his or her health, and particularly with respect to any symptoms that may require diagnosis or medical attention. The information provided in this video is designed to provide helpful information on the subjects discussed. This video is not meant to be used, nor should it be used to diagnose or treat any medical condition. For diagnosis or treatment of any medical problem, consult your own physician. The speakers and participants are not responsible for any specific health or allergy needs that may require medical supervision and are not liable for any damages or negative consequences from any treatment, action, application, or preparation to any person reading or viewing the following information in this video. Use at your own risk. If you are in a life-threatening or emergency medical situation, seek medical assistance immediately. No guarantee that everyone will have the same results, and bee venom therapy is not FDA approved.
Okay, so today we have an amazing guest. We have Nicole, and Nicole has a long journey, and she has done some amazing things while she's had Lyme disease. But what I want to start with is how old she was when she got it, kind of where she was in her life. You know, I know you've got children and husband, and, you know, where were you, kind of what was the first few years like, and what you tried during those first few years of Lyme disease.
I had the best pregnancies ever. Everything went as planned, and then I had to have an emergency C-section. Even though my water broke and everything was great, it was a horrible delivery of a baby. So after that, I got severe postpartum depression, and I went back to work, and I was weird. I wasn't normal, but I didn't say anything because I thought, you know, I just had a baby, I'm depressed. I got on depression medicine, and every now and then I'd take like a weird step, like an out of control, not my control kind of walking.
How far along were you after it was the birth of your first child or your second?
And that was it. That was really the only symptom, just depression and that weird, like I called it a palsy walk, because it like, that's the only way I could describe it. And that was that.
And that was how long after his birth?
Right after.
Okay.
Well, how long are you home after a C-section? And then I went back.
6 to 8 weeks, I think. So
I couldn't wait to go back to work. And when I went is when I noticed the walk. That was just random, like weird steps. And that was it, that and depression. But I kept working. I loved my job. So then I got pregnant and had another fabulous pregnancy. I loved being pregnant. And that one I just scheduled the C-section because why? After having Alyssa, shit hit the fan. My hair was coming out in clumps. I got this horrendous itchy rash on my arms. It was like raised bumps, like hives. And I didn't know what was wrong with me. The depression again came strong.
Do you feel like if you knew now then that the depression was more neurological issues with Lyme?
I thought I had Lyme disease. And I was going to dermatologist because I wouldn't wear short sleeves. You can't really see. I should have brought a picture of what it looked like. These are scars. Can you see them?
I can see them, yes. They're white. It's white patchy now.
It's a pigmentation problem now because they were so itchy and it hurt so bad. It itched so bad that it hurt. And I didn't want to give my babies a bath because I didn't know what it was. I thought I had Lyme, but that wasn't a real Lyme rash. I never got a bullseye. And I had been in therapy since having kids for depression and psych. And both in 1 week, after a dermatologist and some other doctor said I didn't have Lyme, and I was diagnosed by 6 rheumatologists with lupus, mixed connective tissue disease, vasculitis. They all gave me the same medicine though. And the medicine was Plaquenil and steroids. And so the steroids fed the Lyme. And every day I got sicker, and every day I had a new symptom. It was my eyes, my brain, I couldn't think, my memory, my hair. My husband didn't believe me. He couldn't see the symptoms except for the hair that clumps that I'd put on the shower wall. And he thought maybe I had cancer. So I went to cancer doctor, hematologist, infectious disease. We couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. But if you would like to hear some more of the symptoms that I had.
Let's do a timeline here. You were how far out after your daughter at this point before you went? And I want to hear all the symptoms right then.
Okay, so Alyssa was born 20. I could tell you this. I had her for over a year. I thought I had lupus. I knew I didn't have lupus, but all the doctors were telling me stop fighting the diagnosis and take the meds. My major problem was migraines. I couldn't have light. I couldn't have noise. I had 2 little kids, and my ex would just get up and go to work and leave me here. And I mean, he did what he had to do to pay the bills and stuff, but I had to quit my job. I legit couldn't walk. Bartonella, I found out later. Well, so back to the therapists.
Okay.
I'm still seeing therapists and psych, and both in 1 week, literally not connected, 2 different offices, said to me, well, the therapist was so frustrated. She's never had a patient, improve with so much therapy. She said, didn't you know, she said, my niece, didn't I ever tell you about my niece? She reminded me of my niece, all these symptoms. She has Lyme disease. And I was like, they said I don't have Lyme disease. And they said, don't you know the test is inaccurate? So no, I didn't know.
So how long were you on steroids at this point?
Too long. I think about a year, right, Ma?
Wow. That had to have been very challenging, especially with the migraines.
Oh, I got so fat. So fat. And the migraines got worse. It's so weird. So let me go. I have a list. Ready?
Okay, so give us that list. And just so that everybody knows, if you haven't taken steroids and a doctor tries to give you steroids, don't take them.
Do not take them.
Because it changes everything about the Lyme, and it exasperates all of it. And it's really hard to come back from. Okay, so tell us all your symptoms.
Symptoms I have here for a doctor. It feels like a car drove over my feet. These are from 2015. Migraines. The palms of my hand would swell and be red and sore. And air hunger, I could not breathe. I couldn't breathe. I was literally, I remember at work, trying to work before I quit, on the floor with files that I was trying to handle my clients, and I was like spread out literally on the floor in the office, and they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I have no air. I cannot breathe air. There's no air happening here. And they're like, you want to go home? I'm like, we're at a deadline, and I kept working. But then my therapist at the time was directly across the street from my office. She's like, you need to go on disability. You need to quit your job. Where else are we? Forgetful. My memory, I swear I have major brain damage. I did get better from the bees, I'm not going to lie. But it's not 100%. I don't know if I'll ever be. Itchy, the itchiness, everything. Are you guys itchy?
I'm itchy. Like, I itch everywhere. And one of the big things this last 3 weeks with this herx, then it's like hive itchy, and it's you'll itch here, then you itch here, then you itch here, and there's no rhyme or reason to where you itch. You just itch.
Describe it to the doctor. I'm like, it's migrating. They're like, what does that mean? I'm like, I don't know. It's almost symmetrical. Like my arm on this side would be so itchy, then this, and then my thumb, and then my other thumb. Like the weirdest. My scalp a lot. But thank God I had so much hair before, because I swear that half of my hair came out from this whole ordeal. I was 35 when I gave birth. I don't think that's old. I shouldn't have been where I was and at that many doctors at 35.
No, you're completely right.
So the night sweats were also horrible. Do you get that?
I do. I get the night sweats. They haven't been as bad.
You have babesia, sister.
Yes. But the night sweats haven't been near as bad. It used to be every night I had to get up and change the sheets, and
every night
it was just soaking. And it got to the point where I would actually put down a sheet and then a towel and then a sheet and a towel and a sheet so that I could just take off that layer.
Yeah, it's smart.
My husband would just stand up, I'd change it, he'd get back in bed. And so now it's not near as bad. I've only gotten maybe 5 or 6 times since I started bee venom therapy.
Well,
so that's good.
Knocking on wood, because I can now, believe it or not, I can actually sleep in a hoodie.
So you had all this itchiness and migraines, and you said earlier though that your first symptom was in your leg.
Oh my God, you're right. I was.
How did that progress? Did that go all the way down, or did it get worse?
It was behind my knee, and I remember it had to be a Friday because I called my doctor, who was so sick of hearing calls from me because every day I had an issue, and I'm not on my feet all day at the stove, believe me. I was making dinner, and it was the weirdest pain behind my knee. And I called the doctor only because it was a weekend, and I didn't want to go to the hospital. And he said, you need to go get I don't know what it was, ultrasound, maybe, because he was scared it was a blood clot. He told me it was a Baker's cyst, that it was very common.
Isn't that kind of a strange spot for a Baker's cyst?
Whatever. I'm not a baker. I don't know why it was there. And then the weirdest part about my symptoms is they just would disappear. And then I'd have a new one. So I looked crazy. I definitely, if it wasn't me, I would wake up with big, long bruises on both my forearms.
Right. And you were continuing on steroids. You were continuing on that with Aquanil. So you're not getting better.
I was getting worse.
Absolutely not getting better. So you started your Lyme support group, which is amazing, and has
started that after.
Is this before you started the bee venom therapy or after?
My Lyme literate doctor, they're very expensive and they don't take insurance. So of course I wasn't working and everything was out of pocket. And of course how I figured out it was Lyme was the psych gave me IGeneX number, and I called IGeneX. They sent me the kit. I got the whole kit. So that was my last attempt, but we were going with lupus for then. And then I come into the family doctor with this kit. I didn't make an appointment because I knew they wouldn't take it. He didn't want to hear the word Lyme anymore. So I come in with my little kit and he's like, what's up? Does this have to do with Lyme again? And he almost rolled his eyes, but at least he didn't say Lyme's.
Right.
And I'm like,
yes, it's always frustrating.
I promise you, this is my last attempt at convincing you this is Lyme disease. I'm never going to bring it up again if this test comes out negative. I believe this is a lab that we can trust, and I found out the other stuff's not accurate all the time. So he's like, so what do you need from me? I need a blood. They have a, what are they, phlebotomist? In the office. So I needed my blood drawn, and I needed him to sign off on the IGeneX lab. So then I rushed to the UPS, shipped it out, and then sure enough, it was Lyme, it was BART, it was babesia, it was Candida, EBV. It was a disaster. Oh my God. So symptoms, I slept like 15 hours a day, maybe more.
But when you woke up, you still felt exhausted, didn't you?
I took a shower when I go back to bed. I actually would take a shower, go back to bed, and I'd get up for the bus for the kids.
And I bet the shower was even hard to do.
So hard. Everything, and people say just push harder. You want to meet for lunch? Yeah, I want to meet for lunch, but I gotta sleep. I can't go anywhere.
Well, you probably, I'm sure what I'm hearing is that you had only a limited window of energy, and it took all that energy to take the shower, get the kids to the bus, and then come back and go to bed.
I think that you're right. I saved up every ounce of energy just for the kids. So I'd get up in the morning and I'd do my daughter's hair and, get her cereal or whatever, and my son, and get them ready for school. But I couldn't even walk to my mailbox. So my ex would take them to the bus and get them to school for me. and then go to work. And then I'd go back to bed.
And so you're at this point now, you've got a positive Lyme result.
Oh, positive everything result.
Yeah. And then, so what do you change at this point? Obviously, you're not going to take the lupus.
Oh my God. Oh, so the endocrine doctor said, I'm in menopause. I guess I'm having menopause. I don't know. This was before the Lyme. And he's like, what are you taking? And I could barely talk because my head hurt so bad. And I told him, and he goes, let's check your estrogen levels. And he did that. And he showed me on the TV. He's like, you are not in menopause. You're nowhere near it. He goes, look at all that estrogen.
It does tend to make you a little estrogen heavy.
I just don't want to feel like this. And he said, what are you taking? And I told him, and he said, stop taking it. I said, stop taking what? He goes, both of them, the Plaquenil and the steroids. He goes, they're not helping you. He did a case study on me, this guy, but it was about my skin. It was called, he called it Prurigo nodularis, but whatever. It wasn't that. Turns out it was Bartonella, a different rash from Bartonella.
Right.
So
and the scars you have, you were talking about those. I had that on my back. And so I have the same scarring patterns across my back.
How did you itch there? How did you?
It was very challenging, but the wall was really good. And then I got one of those long.
I know what you did.
So yeah, my dermatologist had no idea what it was either.
So you did what I did, derm. And so did you do the UVB light narrowband?
No, it ended up that I was able to control it with a very, very strict diet. I ate almost nothing.
Yeah, I did that for 7 years. I'm over that. I'm done.
Yep, and I had to change. I changed all the products I was using, soaps, shampoos, put a filter on my shower.
Oh, I'm obsessed with water filters, air filters. You have no idea.
So, okay, let's get back to you. So you go to, you now have Lyme. So what did they suggest you do, and who was it?
Infectious disease then they sent me. So, and they said it wasn't Lyme. And I'm like, look, and they said that the doxy 30 days or 20 whatever days. And I was like, listen, at that point I had gone online. I mean, friends from Lyme that I barely know. Like I know forever, but in real life I've only met a few. This girl had a blog. It was called Sonia Beats Lyme or something like that. And I went on there and I was messaging her and I'm like, will you be my Facebook friend? And she's like, I don't normally give out my number, but I think you should call me. Anyway, we talked. I'm still friends with her. She helped me a lot mentally. She's still not better. And I feel so guilty because I got better, but she's afraid to do bees and she's in Cali. And I said, I'll find you a bee buddy. I will find you some, fly me there and I'll sting you.
Taking that jump to bee venom can be scary, but I don't know how you don't do it when you've tried everything else and nothing works. At that point, we're just like, I feel like I'm dying every day.
Every day. Every day, I thought maybe I might not wake up.
Right. And then when you did wake up, you thought, can I really feel like this again today?
Right. Right.
So what did the infectious disease doctor do, or where'd you go next from that?
Unmute my mom because my memory sucks.
All right. So obviously, you know where we are in this plan, and she's now at the infectious disease doctor. So what was the next step in this?
Oh, so Sonia told me I needed an LLMD.
Okay.
Right.
Good. And you found one?
I did. It was hard. You know, it's like the underground world that nobody's allowed to know about. But I found one. He was amazing. He was the best because my memory was so bad. He would write it on paper. What time to take this? What time to take that? This supplement, that supplement, detox, time to wake up, you know, first the probiotic, then and 2 hours this, whatever, the detox, everything he told me. But
so he took you down an herbal path and cleaning your gut up and detoxing your liver and kidneys and things like that so that you could start healing?
He wanted me to get a PICC line, and that really scared me, and I cried. And he said,
he wanted you to do the PICC line for antibiotics too?
Yeah, they're hardcore over here. So I was really, really not excited about a PICC line. I'm like, this can't be that hard. Come on. So he's like, well, we can do it orally. I've helped people orally. And I said, let's do that route. And if I have to, I'll go the other way. And he had a room, he has an ozone room in there, and it's a fancy, really nice place, and he is such a nice guy. Leave his office and then go to pay for the visit, and in that room that you pay is a wall of supplements, like the good stuff, like Thorn research, nutritional research, nutritionals. He had all the good stuff in the office, but I didn't know at that time that there was good stuff and bad stuff. So I was taking so much stuff, and then I was seeing some of it at CVS, but I wasn't getting better, and I couldn't drive myself because I got this fight or flight anxiety I had for 3 years straight. I couldn't breathe. That babesia and the fight or flight, everything stressed me out. I got all these weird issues that are like irrational. I couldn't drive myself. So my ex would have to take off and pay someone to work for him, drive me, pay for my appointment, hear me cry all day. And it just wasn't good. So
how long did you do the supplements? And did you do the antibiotics and supplements together?
I did.
How, was it a year or two?
Oh my God.
How did that affect your Lyme? Did it make it worse?
No, doctor, he helped a little. But when I finally felt so guilty for making my husband having to drive me, I said, I'm going to do this. I can do this next time I'm coming. I'm not bringing him. I can do this. And they knew how I was with the fight or flight, and I couldn't breathe, and the anxiety. The ex went to work. I got in the car, and a torrential downpour started. I couldn't do it. So I pulled over and I called, and they know me, or knew me then. And they were like, oh, we know, we get it, we understand, just relax. I was crying, and they said, call us when you get home and reschedule. I never called back.
So you never went back?
I never went back to him, no, because I didn't want to make my ex take off, and I couldn't get there.
You stopped that. And so where are you then? I mean, you've got Sonia helping you, and
I went to another Lyme literate doctor. I went to 4 or 5. There's a holistic one near me, near where the endocrine doctor is. They now do bee venom. Do you believe it?
That's great. That's very progressive.
What's crazy is that people are driving hours to pay money to get bee venom injections, which aren't even pure. If I had me in my life 12 years ago, 11 years ago, I would have been so thankful. If I would have met me or Ellie, and I could have skipped 7 years of hell and paying out of pocket and medicines that didn't work, the Herxing alone for 7 years, random, and you know how that is. It comes out of nowhere. You're like, all of a sudden, I had vertigo for months. I couldn't drive. I remember one time my daughter was in a recital, and I needed to get her there. But I was so dizzy, I couldn't drive. Mom, did I do Chung Institute before or after Howell?
I think it was before. I think Howell came later.
I could do it. I could do that drive by myself.
Right.
So what did they do at this institute? Did they do herbs again, or was he also?
Oh my God, this guy is so alternative. You know the muscle testing. Have you ever had muscle testing?
Yes, I have had it many times.
Annie, you too? So you hold the slide and you put your arm, and my arm would just down. And he found parasites, which is so gross to even talk about. Doctor's telling me to change my diet, which I did, but doctor was super, his bedside manner was so great that I didn't take it. He wasn't harsh enough for me. I needed harsh.
But he told you had parasites, and I want to talk about that for a second. A lot of people that have Lyme, Babesia, all that stuff do have parasites because your body cannot fight them naturally. And normally, and most everybody has parasites at some time, but because we are deficient in our guts all the way through, the parasites can really take hold. So it's important to treat for parasites while you're doing this so that you can kind of knock one thing out of the ballpark and say, hey, this is done. It's not bothering me again. So did you guys treat for parasites at that point?
Oh my God, this guy. This guy got medicine from some countries, other countries that took weeks to get in, and I don't even know. I think I save all the medicine bottles. Lauren, also the one who does my group with me, was one of my first Lyme friends, and I remember talking to her. I wanted to give up. I wanted to die. I went on Facebook hoping somebody would be in any Lyme group to talk to me and make me want to live and keep trying. And Lauren was there. On Christmas, we talked online. Lauren didn't do bees. She got better, tons of IV, PICC line several times. We both ended with the same doctor.
Lauren is amazing, you're right. So we have been through, let's see, you treated for parasites.
Oh my God, so wait. Parasites. Okay. You know what a rifle machine is?
Yes, I do know what a rifle machine is. I have not used one.
It's expensive and you have bees. So I did. I wasted money on that. But with the parasite, it was like a little, you ever have stim for pain on your back or anything like that? It was like sticky pads?
Yes.
Yes,
I have one of those machines.
You know what I'm talking about. So it looked like a stim thing. Portable, you know. I had to wear this thing for 2 weeks with the pads sticking to me around my belly button. I had 4, like 2 down, 2 up. And it was doing something to parasites. Never left there without doing ozone, which I really, really loved doing.
So this helped. The ozone, I've heard that ozone really helps. And when you were still doing some herbs?
He had me on a million different things, crazy things. I made capsules out of hot pepper seeds. He had me ingesting hot pepper seeds. I have vegetable capsules from Young Living. That's another protocol I tried. Did you ever hear of the Lyme bullets?
Yes, I have.
I did that. It didn't work.
Okay, so how do you feel at this point? I mean, something might be feeling a little bit better.
I would have a good week or a couple days and I'd be like, oh my God, I think I can get a job. And I'd be like, I think this ozone's the answer. And I'd go on Facebook, you guys got to try this. You know, it's working for me. And then the next day I'd be on my ass, herxing, dizzy, throwing up.
How long did you do that before you decided to try something else?
The doctor could have helped me, but we were spending $500 a week there. And I wasn't having enough good weeks to justify that amount of money. So I went back online and I got more doctors and I found one that I thought I could probably drive to. So I finally stopped my diet. My original guy told me I had to change my diet. He did a whole intolerance thing on me. I have the printout. And like, it was ridiculous stuff. Don't eat bananas. So it wasn't allergies. And I mean, I have allergies, but not to food.
Right, but with Lyme, it's very typical for us to react to all foods.
Suddenly, I could not tolerate onions. There's no more tolerating onions still. Tuna fish, I couldn't even be around it. And now I crave it. Weird. The food list was annoying, and he wasn't very harsh about it, my first guy.
So you decided at this point that you needed to rein your diet in, or?
No, I didn't decide.
Oh.
I'll tell you. So alternative guy told me no more fish because I love seafood. I couldn't eat any Italian because everything, you know, was carbs. So I was seafood. I was sushi. He told me no more sushi. And I said, all I eat is salad. I'm a freaking rabbit. Like, I'm tired. I want something else. I want Asian. I want anything. That's fine. It doesn't have to be a carb, but how many salads can I eat? So he was not so nice about it. He's like, you cannot eat that anymore. You're done. And I said, okay. So I stopped with that. I stopped a lot of stuff from him. He told me, stick out your tongue. And he goes, you're not following the diet.
He could tell, yeah.
And I'm like, well, what do you mean? He told me to change my diet. I changed my diet. I barely eat. I have like one bite of bread. Not, you know, he's like, you can have no bread. You can have no bread, no sugar, and no bread. So I cried at dinner every night for months and months while I ate my salad or my vegetable plate. And you know what I used to do? Right across the street from his office is a Starbucks. And I can't tolerate coffee anymore either. But at the time, I guess I could because I wanted a caramel macchiato. So I would get one. Ma, do you remember every time I'd see Dr. S, I'd go across the street, get a caramel macchiato, and then a whole month would go by. That would be my only present to myself. That's not really that good. I would rather have like a chocolate fudge cake, but it was convenient and quick, and it had to be right after that appointment or he'd know.
Yes, he would know. So how did the treatments go with him, and where did you, what were you doing? How were you feeling?
Well, I didn't like him because, I liked that he took my insurance, but I brought a bag. Well, I felt like I was 90 and I was at 37 now. I don't know how old I was, but I dumped out the bag of medicine from my first two doctors. I said, you got to help me. I'm not 90. This is too hard. All I do is carry Mom, remember the medicine? I used to carry around bags. And I'd be looking at the clock all day. Okay, I got to take another probiotic. Then I got to wait 2 hours. Then I got to do shot of apple cider vinegar. Then I got to take this, rifampin. I changed my diet. I thought it wasn't good enough. Dr. S was like, nothing white, not one thing. And that's when it hit me. He said, if you come back and you didn't totally change your diet, you're wasting your time and you're wasting my time and you're taking a slot of a sick person. And it hit me. So I did, and then I stopped the macchiatos, and the diet really helped. The diet helped. That's the only thing. No other doctor was like the first. No other doctor spelled it out and wrote down what time, and this was hard for me. My brain stopped working.
And it's hard to change your diet like that. It's hard to realize that just one little piece of gluten or sugar can derail everything you have done for 3 or 4 months. Everything. And so that's a hard pill to swallow.
But you see it in the groups, right? Like the Lymies that say, I didn't drink alcohol, but for 7 years I ate like a rabbit.
You've got your diet finally.
My diet is better. My medicine got worse, and I didn't like him. He was weird. I felt like he thought I was undercover trying to take him down as a LLMD. Like, he wouldn't make real eye contact with me, as complete opposite as the first guy. So I did that, I don't know how long, as long as I could until I wasn't better. So
you aren't better, but obviously your food is better. So there's some things that are working.
I was a little better. The food absolutely makes a difference. And you hear the Lymies on Facebook. I'm like, you can't drink. No yeast, no sugar, no, this isn't forever, but it's for now. I see these people are drinking alcohol. Ma, do you remember? I tried one sip when that Not Your Father's root beer came out.
Right.
I hadn't drank in years, and I'm like, let me try a sip of that. Maybe that won't be so bad. I tasted just like root beer. I didn't even taste the alcohol. Less than 5 minutes later, I was sweating, dizzy, felt like I was going to throw up, got a migraine. Thank God my mom lived across the street.
How long did that last? I mean, that one sip, and this is something that's really important, and I want to get to the bee venom next, but that one sip of alcohol, which was supposed to be a treat,
right,
affected you for a very long time.
I walked into my mother's house and I ripped off my clothes. I definitely had a fever. And I said, give me a t-shirt and I need to lay down. And I took a nap, I don't know, 3 hours.
Yeah, whatever. You needed it.
One sip. Now you should see me. I could do shots of tequila like a champ.
Some of the benefits of healing from Lyme. So did this lead you to the path of bee venom, or where were you, at what point did you meet Ellie, or?
Okay, so I only gave in to the freaking PICC line. I did not want that thing.
Okay, so he had you do a PICC line, and this was to pulse antibiotics.
I had no choice. No choice, he said to me. This was my last, I was giving up. I was done. I'm like, this sucks. We're going poor, and I can't work. I can't contribute. I'm nothing. I felt so guilty.
Did you have the PICC line at this time, and how did that feel?
I was saying that it was too hard. It was ridiculously too hard. It didn't make sense to me the whole time. So I wanted to try to live and be a good mom. I went into a whole spiritual world during this too. Meditation, affirmations, things to make me happier in here, focus on the good, and made vision boards. And because if I didn't, I went down a black hole and I wanted to be dead. Realized I had to go to a happy bubble. I couldn't listen to anything negative. I left groups where the people were like, I'm going to end it. I can't take it. They were walking, like talking, literally, heads up, I'm committing suicide. I couldn't take that because they did it.
That's understandable, and that's a bad place to be. And I'm glad that you found things that made you in a happy bubble. And
when I'm mentally struggling because I don't feel good or whatever, when I was sick and I needed to heal, I could take nothing else.
That's understandable, and I don't think anybody, unless you've had Lyme, you don't understand how that feels. You have built this bubble to try to make yourself feel better. You have a port now.
I
pick line.
I got the pick. I had time.
So
yeah.
what do you feel like with this? Is it helping? Is it making it worse?
Well, it was helping. And so doctor is the best. I love him, and he wanted to fix me, and he is treating me. I get the pick line. He is hardcore. It's a mix. He's doing muscle testing. I'm doing supplements. I'm doing herbals. I'm doing oral. And I would have some really good days. And then I would get all excited, and then something would happen. This is a total side note. We owned a pizzeria. Sister owns a pizzeria. All of our people in our lives own Italian. Somebody wanted to do a reality show. Everybody backed out of the show. Meanwhile, WeTV bought this show. The producer was struggling. He worked hard to make a video of our show. But it was the producer who sent me Ellie's article on Facebook through Messenger. Do you believe that? I believe everything happens for a reason. And
absolutely, it's amazing.
All these pizzerias had meetings and contracts, and I didn't even read the contract. It was too many words.
And out of this whole thing, you got connected with Ellie.
This guy, Daryl Silver, sent me a link to an article called Poison as Medicine, How a Bee Sting Saved My Life. I only needed the headline, and I'm like, oh my God. It's nature. I was in a cannabis group. I was in every Lyme group possible. MMS. Don't ever do that, by the way.
What is that?
It's drops of what? I don't know.
It's, chlorine dioxide. It's kind of a form of bleach.
It's terrible.
And you have to take it. I think it's like you have to do it every 3 hours. Like you can't stop. You just have to keep taking it.
It's such a small amount, so you can't imagine that it would do anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, there have been success stories supposedly, but you're also ingesting like a really terrible chemical. So
I didn't care. I told Dr. Raxman that I would eat his shit if it would fix me.
Yeah, I've tried I would try anything.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's how desperate I was. So
I'm glad I didn't try that one.
Yeah, right? Don't. So, I mean, I would have done anything.
Okay, so where are you? Tell me.
I had that article.
Okay.
I printed it out and I emailed it, or I messaged it to my husband. And when he got home from work, I said, did you read that? It's nature, just like the cannabis. The cannabis helped my pain, but the bees took the pain away. He said, no, I promised if he took me there, I would never, ever quit until he quit me. Because I kept quitting doctors, he said. And he was like the best, pretty much up there. So I promised Raxlin. He gave me a paper with a body. He said, circle what hurts. I circled the whole body. There was every single thing hurt. And he said, well, what's your quality of life right now? And I said, it's probably like a 20%. He's like, well, where would you be happy if I got you to? And I love that he asked that, because no other doctor asked that. And I was at 1 million doctors. So I said, I don't know, 75, 80, I'd be thrilled.
You said maybe 75, 85% healed?
He said, I can get you there. Yeah. He said.
And where were you when you finished with him?
I had 100% days.
Did you?
Yeah.
And that was before the bee venom, right?
I'm sorry?
That was before the bee venom?
No.
No. Okay, so tell me so you integrated the bee venom with what he was doing as well?
I did, against everybody's recommendations. I did do that.
Okay. So you're still doing, you still have your PICC line.
I do. And I had to go to the hospital every single day for infusions. And he was hardcore. It was scary. I was so nauseous. It was tearing up my stomach. You can't eat anything that will help that. I mean, there were times I'm like, Mom, I need a bagel. I need a bagel. My stomach was like getting totally torn up. I was so scared that I was going to get C. diff because I knew Lyme's that got C. diff and had to get fecal transplants. And I'm like, I don't want that. I just want to do this without all these drugs. The medicines weren't working. I was in the hospital with 90-year-olds getting transfusions, and I'm 30 whatever, and I'm like, oh, I don't need to be here. Like, why?
But you added the bee venom to this protocol, right?
So one of my nurses one day said, what are you reading? Because they'd be like, want the remote, you want the light? I'm like, shut the light off, shut the TV off. And I'd look at my phone, or I'd take a nap, or I'd just sit there and cry. So one day I was investigating more about the bees. Might have been probably before I did it. It was before I did it. My nurse, her husband was a beekeeper. So that was huge for me. I was looking for signs, begging for signs. And when I heard about the bees, it just totally made sense. And looked 1 second at that thing. I put it on his desk. He goes, yeah. I'm like, yeah, what? He goes, I heard about this. And I said, why didn't you tell me about it? And he's like, I have thousands and thousands and thousands of patients. People fly here to see me. I have no patient who has done it, and I can't recommend something that's not FDA approved or tried and true. And I said, well, I want to try it. I was willing to settle for remission when I could get eradicated, you know? So Dr. knew, he knows I wasn't going to not do it. So he's like, well, what do you need from me? I said, I need a EpiPen prescription, and I just need you to tell him it's okay. And he didn't have a problem with it. He didn't have a problem with the bees or the cannabis, but he didn't want the PICC line to be removed yet, which sucked for me. But that was in January of 2015. Do you believe I remember a date? So that was January 2015, and by May 22nd, I had already contacted a beekeeper, a local beekeeper, who I was buying his honey anyway. So I'm thinking, where am I going to get bees? And all these people are ordering bees online, right? So I called this guy, and I'm like, hi, I'm one of your customers, your honey customers, and I was just wondering, do you sell bees? And he's like, what? He's like, nobody ever wanted are you a beekeeper? And I'm like, no, not yet. I was I was desperate. I cried to him on the phone. This guy got so pumped up about it that he did research and found more research on BVT, bee venom therapy, for so many other things too. You know, he found Lyme, but he found the lupus and the MS and all. He was so excited. So he calls me back. When do you want to get stung? And I'm like, I don't have any of my supplies, and I don't have any money, and I'm really overwhelmed. Like, I don't know, but I just wanted to see, you know, where I'm going to get my stuff from. He contacted my mother, right? Huh?
Yes, he did.
Through Facebook.
Yeah.
I guess before May, because my birthday is in May, and it was April. I was in the hospital getting an infusion, and she walked in, and I didn't ask her for food, and I didn't tell her to come. And she had all these boxes, and I'm like, what do you have there? She's like, I got you an early birthday present. I'm like, and you're bringing it here? And she's like, yeah, I'm excited to give it to you. So I opened it. It was a Bee Buddy, and it was tweezers.
Right.
And I think, is that it? It felt like somebody believed in me. Obviously, you believe in me, Mom.
Always.
But I told the guy I got the stuff, and he said, let's do your testing. He knew all about the protocol.
Did he do your first sting for you?
He did my first sting in the bee yard, where I held the EpiPen in one hand and Ellie on FaceTime in the other.
That is just an epic moment in the bee yard.
Well, gotta say, I didn't know him except honey. So I was that sick that I trusted some strange man.
So you did that for your birthday in May.
My birthday's May 30th. May 22nd, I did my first session.
And did you do one sting or two?
Yeah, I didn't do the protocol the way normal people do the protocol because I was nervous. I was still taking hardcore through my line. and my mouth. I knew that the bees were the answer.
Now you've started the bee venom therapy.
I
You can do it typically with the 10 stings 3 times a week. But
So
how did you do that? And when did you start to really know it was working?
So instead of ramping up like you guys do, like with 2, I would do 1 and then 1 more. And it took me forever, but it took me from May 22nd till I think November something.
To get to 10.
Yeah, to get to 10. And then my mom used to come over to sting me.
When did you start feeling better?
4 months, September, we were going somewhere and somebody forgot something, one of the kids. And I was like, just stay here because we were all buckled. I'll run in. And I ran in the house and I ran up the steps, which I had been previously crawling and holding the railing and like, you know, one by one trying to get upstairs. It was, and ran back down, got in the car, and I'm like, oh. And they were like, what? And I'm like, did you see how fast I just did that? Because I ran upstairs and I just ran back downstairs and I got in the car in like less than 5 minutes.
And you didn't forget what you went in to get.
Right. Before that, I couldn't even walk to my mailbox. I couldn't walk to the bus stop. So that was huge. And I knew it was the bees. And I had kept track in my phone and my notes every single day. When I went to put in my phone, went to type in, I ran up the stairs and I hadn't written a note in 2 weeks. And
That's
I was
pretty impressive.
pages of notes, like pages.
Did you still have the PICC line at this point?
Yeah.
So you're running up the stairs now. You can remember things you were trying to get.
My memory got so much better. You just saw me. I was like an amnesia. I was like Dory or the girl on 50 First Dates.
Ask a question really quick. I just want to clarify. The steroids you were on were prednisone. Is that correct previously?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Just want to make sure. We just wanted to clear that up. Okay. So prednisone was the steroid, and that's probably what most of us have taken in the past for migraines, for inflammation. You go in for air hunger, all that kind of thing. They say because your lungs are inflamed, so they give you prednisone. So you still have your PICC line. What antibiotics are in that PICC line?
What antibiotic wasn't? I can tell you my last antibiotic was vancomycin.
That's what, like the top one for if nothing else is working, let's give her this one.
That was my last one. He wanted one more. I couldn't afford it. We had maxed out the credit cards. And I had all my faith at that point in the bees. If it wasn't for Ellie, I think I'd be dead right now.
Ellie has done some amazing work to help everybody with this. And I know Ellie helped you, you helped Bill, Bill helped me. That's 4 deep.
Well, hey girl, I go far.
You helped a lot of people.
I got a girl in Utah out of not me, the bees got her out of a wheelchair.
The bees are absolutely amazing. And so obviously you took the PICC line out and then you just went for bees, right?
Right. And it was still a full-time job because the bees can't do it themselves. You still have to do the diet as much as possible.
You finished your bee venom how long ago? And I know you still do maintenance, but as far as really, every other day type thing.
2018, I guess, because I did it for 3 years straight.
And so you do maintenance now. And where would you say you are as far as
oh my God,
percentage?
When I was 100%, I'm like, I'm 100%, baby. I joined the gym. I was going to the gym. I legit couldn't walk. My kids were begging me to get a handicap thing for my car. And I was like, no, that's self-fulfilling prophecy. I can't see the law of attraction. If I see that I'm handicapped, I'm going to think I'm handicapped and then I'll never get better. I joined the gym. I was having the best time. I got in shape. I did so good.
So you feel like you've got your entire life back?
No.
No?
It's compared to what I was, it's 100%. Can I do everything I used to be able to do? No, it's mental. Everything physical is healed. Up here, and it's not the depression. I get depressed because I can't figure stuff out that used to be really easy. And it's not that I'm old. Everybody's like, you're not getting younger. You forget.
Ben wants to know if you do propolis.
I do, but I don't, just do it. I put it in my smoothies. So I don't know if it's as effective as if you just put it in your mouth, but I put everything in a smoothie. So, you know, I have my green everything, my propolis, bee pollen, I put elderberry, you know, all the stuff you don't want to really just put in your mouth, I put in a smoothie and drink it.
And then what about, did you have your CD57 before BVT and after?
I have not had it after. I want to get it. I avoid. After the BVT worked for me, I was like a little kid. Had a lot of MRIs, and BVT is supposed to change or lessen the white matter or the gray matter on your brain. So I am dying to get an MRI. I have 2 others. I want to compare the 3 because they're 5 years apart. It's 2010, 2015, and now it's 2020. So I'd like somebody. Yes, I stung my neck. I do. I'm sorry. Who wants to take the questions?
All right, so how about this? The next question is, was mold illness ever part of your
Oh my God. Kill me now. Yeah.
So,
Mold. If you have Lyme and you're not doing bees, you are not healing if you're in a moldy environment. You cannot. Bees, I swear to you, that venom is so potent, I think it busted through the mold because I could not heal from any other thing. And even everything that said would cross the blood-brain barrier, I did all of it. Nothing fixed me. I walked in. Do you guys have overload on senses, like your sense of smell and your...
yes, and it's like if there's too much noise or too much light or like there's a background noise, just too many things, it's like my brain just goes, shuts down. So yes.
It sounds like you have everything I had. It's just total overload. If the TV's on and my dad's here talking and a kid's on a game, I'm like, oh my God. But now I can handle it.
Did you ever do the 10 stings in one session or?
Oh yeah, I did 10 stings for 3 years. So I don't really count till November when I got to the 10 is when I started my 3-year.
So you did the protocol, you just happened to do some extra things with it in the beginning.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and then what about?
Oh, the mold, somebody's back to the mold. So
yes.
I would walk in the house with my ex and my kids, and the second we'd walk in the house, I'd be like, do you smell that? No, nobody smelled anything. I'm like, it smells so bad in here. He's like, it's your dogs. No, it's not. I've had dogs my whole life. It's mold. It's mold or mildew. It's something, and I'm not going to heal here.
Strange, because you can smell you can smell cigarette smoke that no one else can smell.
Yes. Wait, did you get phantom smells?
Yes, I did, and I still get those. And like I'll walk outside and I'm like, I smell fertilizer.
Yeah.
And the kids are like, you don't smell anything. And I'm like, I smell fertilizer or pesticides or something.
Did you have phantom hearing? Did you hear things that weren't real?
Yes, I heard things that weren't there, and especially the ringing, the tinnitus in your ears. But then I would just hear things, and the kids are like, you can't hear that. And I'm like, yes, I hear it, and follow it, those kind of things. But so
and EMFs, I could hear the EMFs. I'm like, do you hear the buzzing? Everybody's like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, you absolutely can. Did you ever do more than 10 stings in a session?
No, because it's really not good for you. There are people who come in and they're so excited that they see all the success and they want to get there, and they start and they increase, or they do 10 right away. And I had a friend come in. Ellie came here a year. I was already in a year. I started without her. I mean, I did virtually talk to her, but I did it here. And a year later, she finally came to the East Coast and she stayed here.
So Ellie is visiting your house, and this has to be super amazing. So tell me about this experience.
I don't remember, but the point was she stayed with me for a week, and I love her. And then she came back for another week. We had one big bee meetup, but we had some stragglers on different days, like that couldn't make it.
Did you have to throw any of your stuff away for the mold or anything, or what'd you have to do?
Oh my God. So I was right. And we had 77 times the amount of healthy, normal mold that you should be around. So we have the professionals come too. They both found it. I had it remediated. It was in my crawl space, not even in my living space.
We've gone through mold. We've gone through bee venom. You're feeling better. Obviously, there's still some residual neurological things going on. So you're doing a maintenance plan now. Tell me about your maintenance plan.
I just was too scared to stop. And I don't know if that's even good. Ellie hasn't yelled at me yet. I started out gradually going down, but I never wanted to stop. I don't ever want to stop. I promised God that if the bees worked, that I'd become a beekeeper, because I feel really bad killing the bees when we need the bees on the planet, considering what's going on, especially with this planet. So now I'm a beekeeper, and I am producing more bees than I have ever used and will ever use.
Congratulations. Being a beekeeper is very rewarding.
It's so fun. I am such a bee dork. I don't care.
It happens. Hey, I've got little bee earrings on, you know. I mean, you can be everything. I don't know if you can
I love
see
it. I love it.
So I know Stephen, he continued he's stinging now. And I know that Bill still stings too.
Bill Purdy, he's to quit too.
I think that maybe it's a common thing when you finish to be afraid, because the bee venom is so powerful, and you can even feel really bad.
Yeah.
And sting, and then you feel better, especially when you're in the mix. Like for me, I'm right at that 6 month where everyone said it was going to be horrible, and I was like, nah, I'll be fine. And it really is horrible. But I know that that's because it's working. But the bees are just amazing with that. And so I think continuing to sting.
You're at 10?
Yes.
How long have you been at 10?
6 months.
So when I would herx really bad from, you know, I guess what it is you just have, in my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but it's a full-time job. So you need to be constantly detoxing. Like you're drinking celery juice, you're drinking cucumber juice, you're drinking juice and water with lemon, and that's it. On your detox, you're going to herx. But it's never been as bad. The herxes from the bees are so different than from antibiotics.
They are different. And I think for me, it's just scary. You know, when you start retracing, you're like, oh my gosh, not that again.
But the thing is, with retracing is so cool to me because, well, at first it's really scary because you're like, oh my God. Remember I said I had these big bruises when I woke up in the morning, like, and I had gone nowhere. That went away, and I forgot that was even a thing. And then one day I woke up, and I guess a year and a half later, I totally forgot about that. Woke up and I'm like, oh my God, do you think I got bit again? And I start bugging out. Just little reminders from God. Like, don't forget I got rid of this too.
They are reminders. It's pretty amazing how you do forget some of the things you went through, and then all of a sudden it's back, and it has that whole PTSD effect. Like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this again.
I can't do it again. I will not do it again. That's why I'm not ever gonna not have bees.
But luckily we don't have to do it again because we have the bees. So what would you recommend? I mean, I know we've been through a lot of different things. What would you tell those that are just getting started, that are getting ready to take the leap in this journey?
If they've already done the antibiotics, it's going to be such a smooth and easy ride. The thing about stinging with bees, when you're sick and nobody wants to help you. My mom didn't say no, but she doesn't live here. So I got these bees in a box, and I have to stick my hand in there with tweezers. I'm like so overwhelmed. I wish Jason had invented this thing. I mean, today we did the sting sesh with the dream pod.
CO2, the dream pod.
Oh my God, anybody can do this. This is ridiculous, like so easy. And if I would have known about bees originally, pretty sure I would have did this, especially with this little dream pod. I mean, you put the bees to, like I used to be sick sometimes where I didn't feel good. I knew I needed to sting, but I needed somebody else to catch the bees. Nobody wants to catch bees. Can you say?
A little bit. It's shiny, but we can see a few little mobile.
Well, I would go to the bee yard and we'd shake a frame just a little bit, but I'd have like dangling like a beard of bees. And I'd stick my hand in there. I didn't care anyway. I mean, all the pain I've been through, I was like, they're like, doesn't it hurt? Isn't it going to hurt? I'm like, I don't care. And I'm going to ice. And if it hurts, everything hurts. And then nothing hurt.
Well, Ben is really interested in other places you sting, and let's make sure that you have to sting for a while before you start stinging other places.
Well, I think, is it 6 months or a year? that after that amount of time, you can sting extremities. Like I would have joint pain on my wrist or a finger or an elbow or a knee. And remember you said to do more than 10, I'd only do 11, max 12 if I had two joint things to sting. Like, but I never directly stung my pain until after, I don't know if it was 6 months or a year.
I'm not sure if it's 6 months or a year. I'm thinking it was the year more than the 6 months, because I was thinking about stinging something else, and I was like, I better wait. What I gathered from our conversation is really, it's honing in that diet. It's really taking some self-care and mental care to help yourself get through it, and then stick with the bees.
The bees are the bomb. The bees are the answer. And doesn't that make sense to you?
It makes perfect sense to me. One bug gets another bug.
Right. 7 years and 4 months into BVT, I could run up my steps where I thought I needed a chairlift soon. That's where I was at. Chairlift or move to a rancher.
Yeah.
Annie, is she here?
Yes, Annie's right there.
Oh.
I just unmuted myself.
Oh, there you are.
I guess I was just wondering, like, so there was some overlap when you had the PICC line and then you started the bees. I just wanted to know, like, what was your transition like there? Like, were you feeling well with the bees, so you decided, I'm definitely going to stop the PICC line? And, like, how long did you have that overlap?
I wasn't allowed, I promised my husband and I promised the doctor that I wouldn't quit. And they both knew I was going to do the bees anyway. They wanted to wait. I didn't wait. I guess after the Vanco, I did the bee venom from May until I think November, my PICC line came out.
Pretty special day though to get your PICC line.
It was here. It was home. I was at that point with a home nurse out of pocket. I got to get my PICC line. They were like, is anybody with you? I'm like, no, nobody's with me. Why? And they're like, okay. And they're like, put your stuff in the locker. And then I had to put a gown on and a thing. Like, I didn't realize getting a PICC line was like a kind of like a surgery. And they put a little purple mark with a marker on my arm and put me under this thing. They scan your vein. It was like, I had panic attack. I'm not going to lie. Twice. I had to do that twice.
So does anyone have any additional questions?
I see.
See any on your end?
How do I know it wasn't the antibiotics that helped? I don't know, but 7 years of every single drug you can name didn't help until I added bees. So I'm not going to lie and say it was not at all the antibiotics. I will get back to you guys when I get a CD57 again. I can't wait to do that. And I also will let you know when I get an MRI if you're interested, because I read in the B group that it could fix it, and I'm waiting because I want my brain back.
So what about the Bartonella?
Oh, Bart was bad. Okay. So Bart made me rage like an animal, and it hurt my feet a lot. And I forget exactly all the symptoms that came from Bart, but I can tell you I couldn't stand because of Bart. And when I would rage, I would see red.
How do you feel now with it? Do you have any of the symptoms from Bart now?
I don't think so.
Can you stand for longer than an hour?
I can do laundry. I just don't want to.
That's great.
I do it. I have to. But when I couldn't, and nobody could understand. What do you mean you can't do laundry? You're not even working. I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
So we have a question. We have someone that has been doing, she's 3 months, 10 stings at 3 months. And she has not noticed any improvement.
10 bees, 3 months?
Right. And she's wondering how long it took for your friend to get out of the wheelchair or notice improvements.
Oh my God. You know when you meet a Lyme and they want to tell you all their symptoms and how sick they are, and nobody else has ever been this sick, and they've been to this doctor, that doctor, and you could tell they're never going to get better because they're never going to do what it takes. Then you meet somebody that's like, whatever you did, tell me, I'll do it tomorrow. This girl in Utah, less than a week, this girl was stinging. And a few months later, she was out of her wheelchair.
Amazing.
And she's rocking and rolling. I think she's a singer.
For those that are like she's already 3 months in at 10 stings. I think, and hopefully I think you'll agree with me, it's really about doing all the check boxes. Where's your food? Are you treating for heavy metals? Have you treated for parasites? How's your sleep? You know,
sleep is so important. Sleep is so important. If I didn't get a minimum of 8 hours, I mean, I needed like 15 hours, but if I didn't get 8, I couldn't do anything.
No, I agree with you. And if I don't get enough sleep, I can feel it all day and into the next day, and it makes the hurt so much worse.
I know.
So you have to, I mean, I went to sleep the other day at 6:30 in the afternoon, and I was like, I can't even believe I'm going to bed, but I have to get some sleep. You know, and I didn't wake up until 6:30 the next day.
It's crazy.
So when you don't have anybody to support you, you feel alone, and so already you feel lonely. And these Lyme groups, yes, you can talk to somebody that feels the same way you do and that understands 100% how every day feels, and they don't talk to you like you're crazy, even though you sound like you're crazy.
Everybody thinks you're crazy.
Well, and you've done some amazing things for the Lyme community, for sure. I know your page has 21,000 people.
I thought we were like 19 something recently. Last time I looked.
No, it was over 21 today.
A lot. Wow.
And that's a lot of people. So you can't be, and we can't be the only people walking into the doctor's office saying, listen,
no,
you know, I've got 8,000 symptoms here and they change every day. So can you give the exact name of your Facebook group?
The Lyme Disease Support Group. It's so
there it
easy.
is. It's that easy. Lyme Disease Support Group.
I was scared.
Yes, please do.
So scared to sting my head the whole time. There's only a few times in the protocol that Ellie says you need to do it. I didn't want to. I was like, I'm not stinging my head. Iced this spot with a flat out ice cube. I'm like, whatever. This is literally like the very end of the 3 years. Iced for like 30 seconds. My scalp was freezing, stung my head. It was so easy. So don't dread your head stings. And it's like the best adrenaline rush. So don't get nuts and do it every day. It's something you can do in the morning, because I got like a rush, and I think I might do that today.
Oh, well, you go for it, because last time I got stung in the head, it was horrible, and that was an accident.
You did it?
No, it was an accident. I mean, I'm a beekeeper, and I got stung in the back of the head, and it was horrible. I was like, ah. I can't thank you enough for what you have done for the Lyme community. I know that your 7 years of suffering was not for anything. I mean, you obviously, I feel like you needed to go through something to be able to share it. And I feel like I had to go through something to be able to share it.
I agree with that. There's some reason he picked us. I don't know really why. I used to say that when I was 6 still. When I'd be like, I know.
I see something in that dining room that's pretty amazing. And I think it's like right behind you. I
made it.
I know, it's beautiful.
You like it?
I do. It's beautiful. And see, your creativity is back, because look at that.
Coming back slowly, very slowly. Like, I can't pick colors for the walls, but whatever. I
can't pick colors either.
And I would have been able to, but it's coming. I mean, I'm more me, and the more me I become, the happier I am.
I love that.
Annoying.
I love that you're finding you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm back.
I want to thank you for doing this for us and being willing to share your story. I know that it's hard to go down that road again and to relive some of those experiences, because it causes that anxiety again, your fight or flight moments. And hopefully talking about it is part of the healing process.
It is. And there's a quote that says, I don't know it exactly. It's something like, you'll know you're healed when your story doesn't make you cry. And I'm so proud of myself right now for not crying. But
I'm proud of you too, because I can't do it yet without crying.
It's gonna, and you know what? You're gonna finish the protocol, and then the triggers are gonna trigger you, and it's so hard.
Annie, I hope you're ready, because you're gonna be healing very quickly.
I hope so.
Annie or Amy?
Annie.
Annie. Hi.
Annie. So when are you gonna start?
So I ordered my EpiPen from New Zealand, and And it should be here like any day. It's like a 2 to 3 week shipment. The minute I get my EpiPen, I'm going to order the Dream Pod.
And then I'm going to be jumping up and down and going, yes.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We're going to help her get better.
Yeah, I'm excited. My husband's going to sting me, so I feel very lucky.
Who's going to?
My husband's going to sting me.
Oh, so he's down.
So I thought he was going to be like, no way. But I think, Trish has said it so many times, like, what other option do I have? I don't have any other options. Like I haven't been sick nearly as long as you, but I can see the road ahead of me, and I'm not getting better on antibiotics.
When I say 3 years to people, like they say, how'd you get better? And I say, I stung for 3 years.
Yeah.
And they say they don't have 3 years to wait. And I'm like, You have no idea what you have. I can tell you it worked for my Bartonella and my Babesia.
Yeah.
Candida comes and goes.
I can agree on that.
You already?
Yes, I can agree on that. I had massive pain in my ankles and my feet, and I could not stand. And my feet would swell so bad that my toes wouldn't touch the ground. And I also had the tremors in my leg. And of course they said, oh, it's restless leg syndrome. It's this, it's that. I had ultrasounds on my ankles because they thought it was RA. Nothing was working. I cannot even begin to tell you the things I did to try to make this pain go away, because I couldn't sleep. I couldn't walk, nothing. And I can tell you that it has improved at least 60% in this short time. On some days, I still have issues walking.
Yeah.
But it's not as bad. I haven't had the spasms in my legs, and it's a spasm that makes you feel like you have to pee. I know that sounds strange, but it's such an intense spasm that it hits your whole body.
Yeah.
That I haven't had near as bad as well. And my ankles, which burned like, I don't even know how to describe how it felt. I haven't had that pain at all in months.
Write that down. And so my last, every time you get another symptom or you retrace the symptom, amp up that detox. Do something that you haven't done. Switch it all up. I found where I could not tolerate heat at all when I was sick. And when I got better and I joined the gym, my friend was like, let's go in the steam room. And I said, there's no way I can go in the steam room. But if I could skip my detox bath.
Yeah.
So she said, try it. And I didn't die in the steam room. And now, I became addicted to the steam room because I was so tired of drawing a Epsom salt bath and putting on medication and sitting there until the water and then rinsing off. That was another thing. After the detox bath, you're supposed to take a shower.
Yes, you have to get all that and bee suit as well. If you wear your bee suit and you sweat to death, which is like a sauna, you have to take a shower immediately afterwards so those toxins don't dry and reabsorb.
Yes. So I was taking detox baths for like 2 years where I didn't know, or maybe it didn't absorb into my brain that I had to take a shower after. But after the bath, I wanted to get back in bed. Yeah. So that's a tip that I like to tell everybody, take it, just at least rinse off. Now, gotta have this. You have this, Annie?
I have that. Yep.
And you're getting this.
I'm getting that.
And are you on your vitamin C yet?
Yes.
And your magnesium? Yep.
Yeah, I've been on those things for a long time, but I had to up my vitamin C.
This one I love, D3K2. And this mixed with the magnesium stopped my spasms, girlfriend.
What's that one?
Potassium citrate. I mean, I don't know. It might have been just the bees, but this is the stuff that Ellie told me to take, and she went with me. And then, obviously, do you have this?
Not yet.
Do you, Trish?
I do. I don't take it very often.
There you go. You're herxing, sister.
I know. I'm not sure it makes me feel good.
Do you have brain fog?
I do, but you said potassium is your thing.
Well, that helps me not wake up with a spasm every day.
So for me, it's salt. I have to do a lot more salt.
Okay.
And I can't do potassium. But the Alka-Seltzer doesn't make me feel right. It makes me feel a little groggy. And so
Really?
I've tried it a few times. And I think maybe it's just not my cup of tea.
Maybe.
But I do a charcoal mushroom detox tea.
I got charcoal.
Yeah. And I do that every morning when it's not a sting day.
Yes.
And I'll do it a couple times.
You gotta write this shit down when you sting on a calendar, because like I would write, because I did Monday, Wednesday, Friday because I couldn't remember anything. So you can remember Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I knew it was 3 days a week, a day in between, and detox. So I'd write on my wall calendar, you know, I'd write where I stung, because you got to go from top to bottom, you know, top of your spine, the bottom, you know, top of your bottom of your neck, and to the bottom of your, above your tailbone. My suggestion to every Limey that's going to do this is keep track of your symptoms, and then every day, even if it's like the smallest thing, I got a migraine, my pinky toe hurts, whatever.
Yeah.
And then look at your book every day. I did it in my phone, and I could not believe that it was 2 weeks I went until I even noticed that I wasn't writing in my notes.
And I can't do the notes part. I just do little video clips on my phone because I forget to write down. And so I've just got little videos on my phone. And it's interesting to look back and see just face, you know how you can see in your face, your eyes,
you're alive.
Or the whole right side of your face is drooping.
I'm seeing that right now on me. My Bell's palsy never really left. But
mine comes and goes and depends on how I feel. And yesterday, mine's right-sided.
Does that, but now like, I only notice it when I'm looking like at the bank at the screen when they say, "Hi, how are you?" And then
yeah.
Oh God.
Mine still happens. Like you can watch it visually. You can see it start and go all the way down.
That'll go away, Mama.
It will, and I know it will. It's gone a good bit. I mean, I don't have it near as much now.
No, I mean that like onset. It goes away. It might not go away. Like this is not going away, I don't think. And I just have to be okay with that.
Yeah, I don't think it'll all go away completely, but I think I'll always have a crooked smile. And
you're beautiful, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I'm okay with a crooked smile. It just makes me unique. As long as I can see out of my eye and I can say words, that's great.
Yeah. I just want to feel good.
I have to go. Okay. I have bee things to do today.
Your honey, let me see your honey. Hold that up.
Oh, sure. This is our honey.
I like the little bee in the middle.
So Jason and I are partners. Look, everybody make sure, we know how to get connected. If you
friend request me.
When you need somebody, we're all here. And it's important that you have that support group and that you reach out. Don't be afraid to reach out. You're not crazy. It's okay to feel that way and know that all of us have been there and that we can help you come out of it.
And if you know any other Limeys that are afraid to do this, it's so much easier than it seems. It's the best. And with this dream pod is amazing. Yeah. It's like no work. There's no stress. There's no anxiety. I mean, and now it comes out, and I like it. I love it. But I also love bees.
Right.
I love bees too. So Queen Bee, I'm not sure who Queen Bee is, but
is that Ellie?
I'm thinking it might be, because she says forehead stings are great for Bell's palsy residual stuff. So hairline, meaning I imagine reading right up here.
I don't know, but I'm going to find out because I need to do that.
Yeah.
Okay, find the tender spots straight up from the arch of the eyebrow.
Where am I seeing that?
Oh, it's right here.
Right here?
I don't know. It's tender right there. Mine's only on the right side. Getting ready to sting her for her hairline.
God.
It's crazy, man.
I'm not stinging my hairline right now.
Nicole is awesome. I love her so much. She's just like all over the place. She's like,
okay, are you getting ready to sting your hairline? Okay.
Do it.
Right here.
Okay.
All right, whatever.
Don't forget to sting your head. Not to be done more than a few times and not in the same week. Okay.
That's definitely Ellie. Hi, Ellie. I love you, Ellie. I know that's Ellie.
I love Ellie too. I wish I could have met her.
Oh, you can.
Well, I mean.
At a bee meeting?
Right. Exactly. I wish that I had met her 25 years ago.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we're ready. Here she goes.
It's hard to see. I can't see. Buddy. Oh, I got it.
Did you get it?
Yeah. Can you see it?
Do you leave it in just as long?
I don't know. I never did this one. Imagine my Bell's palsy goes away today.
It's time to take portraits.
It's magical.
After the bee sting.
It's there. It's pumping. I feel it. Maybe I'll get smarter. Maybe my memory will come back. Who knows?
Find the lesions and go. This is perfect.
All right, guys. It was nice, fun Zooming with you all. If you have any questions, you can message me, call me, whatever.
All right. Thank you again, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a wonderful evening.
Bye, you too.
Happy bees.